بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. أسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يجعل نياتنا خالصة لوجهه الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I welcome all of you to this special discussion tonight that is truly long overdue. In clarifying, as we do on our platform and all of our platforms and on the Black Imams Roundtable, one of the main things we do is clarify the creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And it is important that we do that, especially in our communities. But tonight's discussion, we want to lay out for a series of discussions on this subject, because many of you are now being introduced to another methodology that you may not be familiar with, nor know its context, its historical place, its scholars, its books, its chains of narrations, and its place in our present discussion in terms of the creed. So we wanted to take time to lay that out, because there is, whether intentional or unintentional, a scheme to undermine our efforts to teach the correct creed of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Whether it is intentional or unintentional, that air exists. So, as is our nature as Imams of the Black Imam Roundtable, we take things directly on. We don't go around the corner. We don't, straight, face to face, let's deal with it. But we're going to deal with this subject in the most academic way we can, which is related to our situation as a people. I want to share something with you. And since we're not on a Black Imams Roundtable and Imam Naeem is with me, he's going to join in this conversation. I'm just opening it up to give some context. All of us are laymen, or in Arabic, awam. Can we put that up? All of us are laymen, awam. So awam in Arabic All of us are awam, laymen. And why am I starting the discussion with that? Because you have this spirit among some of us, and I'm speaking directly to us, who went overseas, sat with sheikhs and scholars, and when we came back, some of us forgot what we were when we were in those lands. We were awam, we were laymen. And when we came back, we were laymen who knew some stuff, but we still laymen. It's very important. So you'll have this conversation that these things shouldn't be discussed among the awam. You know, it should be discussed among the scholars and the students of knowledge. But last time I checked, the students of knowledge in our context are among the awam. They laymen, last time I checked, right? So, I mean, I know you want to find a space, but scholar ain't it, awam. And then why I'm saying that is because that discussion would be, hey, listen, this should be left to the scholars. It shouldn't be discussed among the awam. Well, why are you discussing it? Because you're among them, right? You are among them. You're not above them. You might be a little bit more knowledgeable than the lowest of the awam, but you are among the awam. You're among the common people. So therefore, since you're having discussion, then I guess the awam should have that discussion because you're among the awam. And that means all of us are. And like it or not, whether we have it or not, the awam in our context, the common people, the laymen, are having these discussions every single day, every day. And they're the discussions that they're dealing with the most in certain communities. So one of the things that I want us to get beyond is we're not too unintelligent to have an intelligent academic discussion. I want to say that. We are not too unintelligent to have an academic, intelligent conversation. At least that's my opinion about us laymen. We can have a real discussion, even though we're not scholars, but we are people of intellects. We actually learn to read and write, and some of us can critically think, some of us can read, some of us can research, some of us actually have the ability to learn. And these people among us are the audience that I'm trying to talk to. The audience who really want to learn. And I want to give us access to the knowledge that will help us learn and not just be talked down to forever. It's my thought. So this subject, I believe we have the ability to discuss it in a way that allows us to learn and benefit and make progress. I don't believe we not intelligent enough to do it. I don't believe that. At least that's not my position. And since I count myself among the awam, among Black people, I find that quite insulting, you telling me this is above my pay grade. Don't work for me. I'm just being honest. For me, at least. Let me fix that. We are not too unintelligent to have an academic, intelligent conversation. We're not too unintelligent to have an academic, intelligent conversation. Right, yeah, fix that one. It meant it's a whole different meaning, right? All right, so what we are confronted with now in our communities that we weren't confronted with before, and Imam Naim is here with me. We've been doing this together in the same area, in the most intense area, I would like to say for at least 16 to 20 years. Imam Naim, am I right? That we've known each other and we've been in on the battleground. At least 16, I would say almost 20 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I lost count, something like that.
Right. Definitely been over 15 years for sure. Right. So that means, and if we never had this discussion we're having now, this is a new discussion. We never were talking about these issues. So this was brought to our community, and now we have to deal with the issue. None of us were talking like this about these issues. This is a new issue that came into our community. I ain't saying it's a new issue in Islam, it's a new issue in the Black inner city community. So we're going to address it. And that's my opening. And what we're going to do today is lay a foundation for tomorrow's discussion. And I'll tell you why it's going to be a discussion tomorrow on the Black Imams Roundtable. And I believe if we do it right, this discussion needs a minimum of 4 sessions if we break it up correctly for an academic, intelligent discussion. We're going to need at least 4 sessions. And I would like to have those sessions with our brothers who have that view. And I believe we will. If not, we'll have the discussions ourselves, but we're going to have the discussions. So that's my opening, Imam Naim, and you get a context of where I was at, and you can give your thoughts before I go into the more details.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa afdalu salatu wa atamu taslim ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. ورضي الله تعالى عن السادة التابعين وعلماء العاملين وأئمة الأربعة المجتهدين ومقالديهم إلى يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته everyone. Alhamdulillah. I don't have much as far as an opening statement. Most of what I have to say is actually a question for Imam Amin. I like to keep things very simple. I believe when people unnecessarily try to make things complicated, emphasis on the word unnecessarily, try to make things uncomplicated, that there's something more sinister at hand. My real question is, from my perspective, all that I'm seeing, all that I'm hearing, and my limited knowledge, that there is no disagreement, no point of contention with regards to the foundations of the creed, the Aqidah, our Islamic belief, between the Asharis, the Maturidis, and the Hanbalis, Fudula min al Hanabila, right? If there's really no point of contention, and we say for the most part, we agree, from their side, what is the argument? Like, if we agree, why are we arguing? Why all the smoke for us? Why? That's my question. From what you observing, Imam, I mean.
What I observe is that we all know each other. We all know each other. We all been around each other for a long time. And to be honest, there's a lot of there's a lot of perceived jealousy. And that perceived jealousy, personally, I believe, leads people to make issues where there are no issues. That's my honest opinion. If I just be as nice as I could be about it, I believe that some of us are just jealous of others because we know each other. And we have this mentality, who so-and-so think he is. He's no better than me. But that's from our side, like you projecting that on the other person and then act according to it. That may necessarily not be the truth. So I think that's the basis of why we see such unnecessary controversy. That's my opinion. It has nothing to do with religion. And the ones who do it never are on the front lines. They're always behind the back talking. They never front line and deal with the issue. Never. They always behind the scenes pushing someone else out. They themselves are never on the front line of the discussion. So that's what I see. Now, I could be totally wrong, but you asked me, what do I see?
Right.
I don't think it has anything to do with knowledge or right and wrong. I don't think it has nothing to do with that. That's my honest opinion. And as you know, you've seen on more than one occasion where publicly we could have solved any misunderstanding, but that wasn't engaged. It was avoided. So I think that that's the issue. It has nothing to do with the knowledge, but that's not academic, nor is that intelligent. So for me, I think we need to forget all that and let's just deal with the knowledge. Let's deal with an academic, intelligent approach to the subject and forget about individuals. That's what I believe. If we could do that, it works. It ain't about us. We're just narrators. So if we just deal with the subject, I think that would make it easier. And Allah knows best.
Because you know what I do when I come across a video or a post of something that I don't like, you know what I do? I keep scrolling. I don't stick around. I keep going. So, I don't know why people can't do that.
Yeah, so that's what I see. And let's get to it, right? And then we'll separate, as they say, the men from the boys. Because the conversation we're going to have, some people can't have this conversation, right? And rightfully so. They should sit in the bleachers and watch and learn something and take notes, right? So we're going to have the discussion. And inshallah, let us right? Let's deal with it. So remember, Imam Naeem, I want you to engage me in this.
Mm-hmm.
So the advertisement went out, so y'all know the context of this conversation. And our brother, whom we love, Sheikh Nur Sanders, was supposed to come on today, but it was a last-minute decision between me and him, and he had family responsibilities he couldn't get free from. He thought he could, but he couldn't. And he kindly asked me, can we do it tomorrow? but we had already advertised, right? So inshallah, he'll come back tomorrow. So what we're going to do tonight is lay out the foundations for a 3-hour conversation tomorrow. So the round table will be 3 hours tomorrow. So be prepared, because we're going to deal with it academically, intelligently, by subject matter, right? So it's not going to be microwave. And it's not going to be a bunch of disagreeing unnecessarily. It's going to be fact-finding with books, with explanations and cross-referencing and researching and conclusions. And every time we finish, something is going to lead to a creedal point. When we finish, a creedal point is going to be established. Each section we finish, a creedal point will be established. Whether we agree on it or disagree on it, it's going to be established what we agree on, what we disagree on, and why we disagree in an academic manner. Y'all follow that? So you're going to learn something. Bring your pencils and papers and your note. This is classes in session for this discussion. There will be no name calling. There will be no attacking. There will be no trying to show somebody up. It is just to collectively, as African-American brothers, Muslims, who have different ways of learning and different resources, bringing them together so we can understand. That's it. Y'all follow me? Pure academics. So the discussion, how it started, so let me give you a historic. On our platforms, we say Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah are the Asharis and the Maturidis, and we usually stop. I'm talking about on this platform. There has been on more than one occasion our brothers whom we love. Let's keep that in mind. Our brothers whom we love that have learned, as they describe it, the true creed of the Hanabila. These are African-American brothers who we knew before they started studying. We knew all of them. When they were beginners, we knew them. So we have a love. We actually taught some of them and helped them in their studies. So they learned this Hanbali creed. Yeah, Imam Fahim, we called you. You didn't answer your phone. We figured you didn't want to come out and play. But you're welcome. I'll send you the link if you want to join in. Give me 1 second, because I don't want it to be said that we left Imam Fahim out. Because we would never leave you out, bro. I'm sorry. So if you want to join in, Imam Fahim, this is a round table, pre-round table, because you didn't answer your phone. So the link is sent to you, Imam Fahim, if you want to join in. So they came with this Hanbali position, which, to be honest, none of us were talking about. It was never a subject matter in our discussions. Our discussion was always the Asharis against Salafi Wahhabis discourse. That was always our discussion for all of us. Then this got added. So now that it was added, they came to us and said, you must include the Hanbalis. And We didn't do it. So they got mad at us. And they started a campaign to oppose our saying Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah are the Ash'aris and the Maturidis. And this has happened. Right? So now we're just addressing the issue. But since we addressed the issue, we wanted to give a clear detail, right? And an explanation. Imam Naeem, would that be correct how I saw it? Do you see it another way? Or something you can add? That's the concept.
I see it the same way, only I would just add a footnote that Hanbalis, the true Hanbalis, have never been excluded. They've always been included. In the same way that, and I believe Sheikh Nasser, he articulated this beautifully when he was on. Some of our scholars say that Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah are the Ash'aris, period. And then they say after that the Maturidis are like the Ash'aris, right? Maturidis don't get upset when their name is not mentioned because it's already understood. Likewise, when you say Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah are the Ash'aris and the Maturidis, it automatically includes anyone who agrees with them, as you said earlier, in the foundations of the creed. And that would include the Hanbalis. So there's, I believe, a false narrative going on, and I think we need to correct it every time it comes up, that Imam Amin is excluding the Hanbalis from Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah. He's not doing that. Imam Amin and everyone else from Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah is excluding the Wahhabis in the dress of the Hanbalis from Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah. There's a difference. He's excluding the wolf in sheep's clothing. He's not excluding the sheep, the Hanbalis. And we shouldn't pass by that, because if you let a lie get repeated too many times, people will take it as the truth. And then you'll start getting questions. Why aren't the Hanbalis part of Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah? Nobody said that, right? So maybe the real question is, why aren't they mentioned explicitly by name every time you mention Ash'aris and Maturidis? And my personal response would be to that is, it didn't start with Imam Amin. You mentioned merely 3 scholars earlier this morning who said the same thing, and we can give a whole lot more than them. So the question should be, why did they not mention them by name explicitly? So I think that part, sometimes we arguing against things that nobody here has ever said. Like you said, our only thing that we've been like seriously dogmatic about, because it's heavily affecting our communities, is the Wahhabiyah, who call themselves Salafi. That's what we've been dogmatic about. And really, that's what this is about. Because once again, we're not speaking against Hanbalis, we're speaking against Wahhabis who claim to be Hanbalis. That's the problem. Nobody has an argument or a problem with people who follow the creed of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Nobody has that issue. But people are making it seem like that's the issue when it's not the issue. That's all. So yeah, I agree with what you said.
So now I need you to get your notebooks out. Please get your notebooks. Y'all ready? Remember, we always talk, so this is going to be a class in a way, but it's going to be brief because the real discussion is going to be tomorrow, right? But I need you to have the tools to have the discussion. Everybody got their pens and paper out? Stop coming with popcorn. Come with a pen and paper. Man, it's going to be a discussion. No, this time bring a pen and paper and your, what's they call it? Your thinking cap.
Hey, when I saw the notification come up while I was teaching class, I was okay. I got to get the popcorn ready. Then you call.
Yeah. No popcorn needed. Pencil and paper. Because we can do it. I believe we can. All right. Now, the reason why Noor Sanders, Sheikh Noor, and I say Sheikh, even though he says I'm a student, because I want to encourage you to keep going. We need a sheikh from our own people. If you're going to be Hanbali, be Hanbali and be sheikh of the Hanabila for the black people in America. While you help others too, that's what we want. So I'm going to give you that. Even if it's a title of encouragement, please make some sheikhs with the correct creed, please. Because I know people are listening and they'll take it and say, Imam means it. No. Nah. It's clear what I'm saying. We want you to be a sheikh. And we will do anything we can do to facilitate that. Right? And we want you to bring that knowledge back to our communities and help us in the struggle to get the correct Aqidah. So now we say all the time for us that we must learn Islam globally and historically. Y'all know this, so write that down. We must learn Islam globally and historically with an unbroken chain of narration. That's our theme. All of the sciences, and the one we talking about now is the science of al-Aqidah, the belief. We must learn it globally, all around the world. Wherever the people of truth are, we have to find them. Historically, from every generation back to the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everyone got that? We all on the same page. Unbroken chain, that's a good question, and I'll answer it. Unbroken means from teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher all the way back. That's unbroken. From teacher to teacher to teacher, through teachers and books, all the way till we reach, in this case, we're talking about Imam Ahmed, all the way back to Imam Ahmed, and from Imam Ahmed, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, back to the Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Is that clear? Everyone got that? That's what we mean unbroken chain. We ain't skipping no generation, because that's part of the historical record. We can trace it through our chains of narration. And we need to start studying chains of narration, how we received our information, right? That's an important aspect, globally and historically, through chains of narration, because we're going to see where things got messed up when we got these chains of narration. When we actually get into that, we're going to start discovering where the breaks are at, where the mistakes are at. That's going to help us, along with the scholars and the texts, right? So let's go. So you'll see we're not just talking. Our brothers of the true Hanbalis, they tell us the true Hanbali creed. The books, the main books that they use globally and historically, among them are the following books from true Hanabila. One book is the Creed of Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal. That was written by the great Imam Abul Fadl Abdul Wahid ibn Abdul Aziz ibn al-Harith at-Tamimi al-Baghdadi. He died in the year 410 AH. Write that name down. Al-Imam Abul Fadl at-Tamimi. He died in the year 410 AH. He was in Baghdad. He was the Imam of the Hanbalis at the beginning of the 5th and the end of the 4th century. The Imam of the Hanabila. This is his book. Y'all got that? What's his name? This is printed. Imam Abul Fadl Abdul Wahid At-Tamimi Al-Baghdadi. He died 410 AH. Text. And the text has knowledge. So we're just dealing with the text first. Y'all ready? That's one. We're going by time. So we got Imam Ahmed and some scholars before them. We're going to say what books we're working with right now, which will cover the madhab, right? That's one. Y'all got it? Number two, right? This book, Lum'atul Ittiqad, this is a commentary by a modern day Hanbali scholar. But the basic text is called Lum'atul Ittiqad by Shaykh al-Islam al-Muwaffiq ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi al-Jama'ili al-Hanbali, who died in the year 620 AH. Mark it down. Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, he died 620 AH. He wrote this book, Lum'atul Ittiqad, and this is a commentary by a modern, real Hanbali. The book is here. So everything we're going to talk from now on, after we go through this, is going to be through books that the Hanabila, the true Hanabila, say they follow. Are y'all with me? Okay. Next book. So we're in the 7th century. So we went 5th, we went to the 7th. These are the main relied upon scholars and books in the Hanbali, true Hanbali school. The next book is here, Nihayatul Mubtadi'een fi Usul al-Din. It is written ala madhhab al-Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal. It is written by a Sheikh al-Imam Ahmed ibn Hamdan ibn Shabib al-Harrani. MashaAllah. Al-Harrani, who died in the year 695 AH. So this is the book written by Ibn Hamdan al-Harrani al-Hanbali, Nihayat al-Mubtadi'een fi Usul al-Din, ala madhhab al-Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal, 695. Right? $695. Y'all got the date? Ibn Hamdan, 695. This is Hanbali Aqidah, according to the Hanabila, the true Hanabila. Move on. Next. Tuhfatul Wusul ila ilm al-usul ala madhhab Ahl al-Sunnati wal-Jama'ah. It is written, and reading backwards is very difficult for me, Al-Imam Yusuf ibn Hassan ibn Abdul Hadi al-Maqdisi al-Dimashqi al-Hanbali, who died in the year 909 after Hijrah. Here's the text. There's the book, Tuhfatul Wusul ila ilm al-usul ala madhhab Ahl al-Sunnati wal-Jama'ah. And there's the author, Al-Imam Yusuf ibn Hassan ibn Abdul Hadi al-Maqdisi al-Dimashqi al-Hanbali, who died in the year 909. Y'all with me? You got it? So this is among the books of the Hanabila. This is the 10th century, the beginning of the 10th century. Let's move on. The next book, Al-Ain wal-Athar fi Aqaidi Ahl al-Athar, written by who? Abdul Baqi ibn Abdul Baqi ibn Abdul Qadir Ba'li al-Dimashqi al-Hanbali, who died in the year 1071 AH. There is the book. 1071, that's the 11th century, the beginning of the 11th century. Al-Ain wal-Athar fi Aqaidi al-Athar, a relied upon book in the true Hanbali madhab. Historically, 1071. I'm just giving you the sources, academics. We just going to the sources because we're going to go into all these books when we have a discussion. The next book is Qala'idul Iqyan fi Ikhtisari Aqidati Ibn Hamdan. Qala'idul Iqyan fi Ikhtisar Aqidati Ibn Hamdan. Written by who? The great Imam Shamsuddin Abi Abdullah Muhammad Ibn Badruddin Ibn Abdul Qadir Ibn Balban Al-Ba'li Al-Dimashqi Al-Hanbali, who died in the year 1083. Hanbali Ibn Balban. And it's a summary of the work of Ibn Hamdan, which we talked about earlier, right? Is a summary. And this is in the 11th, the beginning, the end of the 11th century, 1083. This is the creed of the Hanabila, according to them, right? The last one, which we're going to deal with tonight, Ad-Durratul Mudiyya fi Aqdi Ahl al-Firqati al-Mardiyya, written by the Imam al-Allama al-Muhaqqiq al-Faqih Shamsuddin Abil Aun Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Salim ibn Sulaiman al-Safarini Anabulsi al-Dimashqi al-Hanbali, who died in the year 1188, the end of the 12th century. This Imam lived during the time of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. If you notice something, all of these scholars were from Ash-Sham, except Abu Fadl al-Tamimi, who was from Iraq. So there's a shift. These are the reliable books of the true Hanabila. And there are other books, smaller, some bigger, but these are the relied upon books if anyone wants to study the true Hanbali madhab. These are your books. Do y'all got that? Is everyone follow me? So I laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their main books. And the last book, which is the relied upon book, has a huge commentary, which is 3 volumes in one print, and I have it in another print in one volume, a big one, right? It's called Lawami'ul Anwar al-Bahiyya wa Sawati'ul Asrar al-Athariyya li Shar ad-Durratul Mudiyya fi Aqti al-Firqati al-Mardiyya. And that's the commentary on this book. So this one book has this huge commentary in one book. Huge, big commentary, which is also published in a nice print in 3 big volumes. So sources are available. to actually see what the creed was. Now connect our beloved Sheikh Noor, right, with living teachers. Together, we should get an understanding. We have the resources. We have the stuff to refer. Now we can ask legitimate questions. That's step one. Sources. From where are we getting our information? Sources. Now, as I told you this morning, I said that the discussion would center around the Hanbalis of Damascus. If you notice, most of these scholars ended up in Damascus, Ibn Qudama, and in Syria, Ibn Hamdan, Yusuf ibn Hassan ibn al-Hadi al-Maqdisi al-Dimashqi, Abdul Baqi al-Dimashqi al-Hanbali, Ibn Balban al-Dimashqi, al-Safarini al-Dimashqi. As I mentioned, that's not a lie. Here's the books. Notice none of the reliable books that are mentioned as the main sources of the information were from Najd. Though they do have some scholars from Najd who actually went to Damascus to learn the Hanbali Creed. That's true. But their source of the information was these latter scholars of Damascus, and their scholars say that these are the relied upon books. Al-Kutub al-Mu'tamada fil Madhab. They are the relied upon books in the school. That's academic truth. Okay, that's stage one. Let's answer any questions about stage one. So I see some questions, please. Imam Naeem, if I miss one. I see second question from Levon. Where's his first question? That's another question. Could you go over the shift? Okay. Do we got any questions, Imam Naeem, that I'm missing? If you come up with some more.
I just put what I caught in the private chat.
Akila. Okay, let me get Akila's question. Where is it at? Because we're going to take it slow. I said it's not going to be microwave, right? And so now we wipe out, by way of this, any argumentation. It's not argument, it's the facts is right there. Just look. And whatever we don't understand, that's why we need living teachers. The living teachers can explain. And Sheikh Noor is going to be our living teacher, whether he likes it or not. You will be the living teacher, Habibi, right? Okay. All right, I'm going to take a couple questions related. So we didn't, if anything needs to be clear. Why do they teach many in the Ummah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has physical attributes such as his creations? Actually, no one says that is accepted or has any weight. But when we discuss, we're going to discuss that issue. So just hold that question to tomorrow night with Sheikh Noor, because we're going to discuss this issue. But actually, no one who we're really talking about says that anyway. If someone said that, they're unlearned. So let's give the shift. One scholar said the shift of the Hanabila went from Baghdad to Sham to Egypt and then to Arabia. We're going to discuss all that, and I'll let Sheikh Noor, who's studying those madhabs, will study the madhab, let him talk about the shift and the important figures. That's what he's going to do tomorrow night. So you have to wait till tomorrow for him to do that. I want him to do it. I'm just laying out a foundation for the discussion because he follows the madhab. I don't. We're just doing the research, the academic research, and following what we've learned, right? So he's going to discuss that. Just so hold that question for tomorrow. Write it down, Levon. Don't let it escape you. Second question. Since you begin with asanid, is there any way that we can make a repository where we can preserve chains of transmissions of teachers now? Well, we have that. Very few people have the maxi. What's maxi? I don't know what that means. To ask a teacher who he or she studied from. Sometimes they become of the butt of a joke because even if it was given, they can't verify or know anyone in the chain. That's a good legitimate. Let me explain to this how it works. Every scholar who's worth his weight in salt, is that what they say? Every scholar who's worth his weight in salt has what we call a thebit, which is a collection of his chains of narration in every Islamic science or book that he studied with his teachers, right? So write that down. This is school now. I know y'all looking for entertainment. I said we have to study. So that's your answer right there, right? If you truly study with a teacher, right? Every teacher who's a real teacher has a thebit. What is a thebit? It's a collection of that scholar's chains of transmission in different Islamic sciences or books or through teachers. Every teacher I study with has that from all over the world, and it's documented. Let me give you an example. To give you an example, so all of them, some are bigger, some are smaller. I'm just giving you like two of mine, just to give you an example. And I won't put the name of the sheikh, right? Just so we can avoid showing off, but it's for the point. So you see this, right? And yeah, I can show you, but I can't see, right? This is a handwritten thabit of one of my teachers, right? And then after this, he's going to talk about, I'll give you an example. And this is a smaller one. He's mentioned all of the books and the Ijazah, the different types of narration of hadith, the Muwatta of Imam Malik, Al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, And it's different narrations. Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi, An-Nasai, Ibn Majah, the Musnad of Imam Shafi, the Musnad of Imam Ahmed, Adab al-Mufrad, al-Bukhari, and so on and so on. The books of Imam al-Ghazali, the books of so and so and so and so and so on and on and on and on, as you can see, right? Right? And then, at the end of it, the sheikh who you learn from will write for you from his ijazah. And your name will be mentioned. As you can see, my name, just to show you, Amin Muhammad, right? Right there. Amin Muhammad. And then signed by the sheikh at the end, which I don't want to go into details, right? That's one. And the same thing, some of them are bigger because depending of the sheikhs, right? And at the end of it, you'll see the end of it. When the sheikh will finish, the sheikh will write your name, Amin Muhammad al-Ashari al-Shafi'i. And then the sheikh will sign, right? Every scholar has that if you learn. And every teacher you learn with, they have it. Some big, some small. I have some of them that are 5 volumes. It depends who you learn from. So, and the names are all there. There, if you studied, the biographies are there. It all can be checked. And what you will notice is if you studied with different teachers, and I can mention some, not just like I said, because we don't want to do name dropping, right? Some of my teachers, before they would give ijazah, they want to know who you received from, what did you receive, and what did you retain of it? And they would test you in that first. And then if you could articulate that, they felt safe giving you their trains of transmission. So that's how you can easily search that stuff. It's not hard. There's an old saying in Arabic, "Faqidu shay la yu'tihi." The one who doesn't have a thing can't give it. If you have it, it's not showing off. I'm just saying it's available. So it's not like something mysterious. If you really studied, it's available. And you can trace it and you can check all the names to make sure who learned from who. It's available. It's not hard. I mean, it's a field of study, don't get me wrong, but it's not impossible. And we're not too unintelligent to receive it. We are a smart people. How many inventions we made as a people? A whole bunch, right, Imam Naeem? So to that question, Levon, it's available. And anyone who learned can show you their stuff. If you're learning because they want you to transmit, all of our teachers gave it not because we special people. They want us to transmit. I'm giving you this because I want you to transmit from my route and to preserve and continue these chains of narration in these books or in this or in that. That's what they do. They want you to do something with it, not just to say, yeah, I got a chain of narration. No, you got to teach. You got to convey. You got to spread this stuff. That's how you preserve our religion. So that's easy. And the Hanabila, the true Hanabila, will have the same thing. And then you can go into that and you can discuss the chain of narration, the Rijal of the Senate. You can discuss that. And sometimes you're going to find in the chain of narration, there's mistakes. When you really into the field, you're going to be able to examine it. You follow what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. You got that, Imam Naeem? Did I hit all the questions? I got one more. That was the one you put up.
Yeah, you got a couple more.
I mean, did you say all of the Hanabila scholars you just provided are from Sham? Sham. That's the Syrian Damascus area. Sham is really like Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. But Damascus was like the center of Sham. So yes, all of them were from Sham except Abul Fadl at-Tamimi. The rest of them were from Sham. The major scholars for the true Hanbali madhab were primarily in the Sham areas. And they spread other places, but primarily the reliable books are from those scholars in Sham. Not saying others didn't write, but I'm talking about the ones they study, these are the books you study, they are from the scholars of Sham. As I mentioned this morning. Yes, I did say that. And any of it can be corrected when Sheikh Noor comes. If there is a mistake, he can correct it. But we can have a real discussion now, right? We're not just talking from our head. We actually got text. Do any of those books say Hanbali Creed, or do they claim Ash'ari? All of them Hanbali books. All of them Hanbali school. And they say it on the cover, Hanbali. Athari. They're all Hanbali books. They're not Ash'ari or Maturidi books. They're all Hanbali. Okay, so I think we hit all that. That's level one, and we got to get ready to come to a close because we said no more than an hour and a half.
You do have a couple more.
All right, which ones?
Huzaifa, is the book Kitab al-Sunnah written by Abdullah ibn Ahmed ibn Hanbal authentic?
It is a tribute to his son. It has many problems, but it is attributed to him, of course. Now we can let Hanbalis deal with that subject because it has some issues, but let them deal with that. That's not our issue. Is the book attributed to him? Yes. Is it available? Yes. Do we have it? Yes. Are we prepared to talk about it if necessary? Yes. Right? So have our teachers told us about it? Yes. Have they pointed out problematic statements in it? Yes. But let the Hanbalis deal with that. We'll just go through the text and talk about it, right? Where was I answer Hudayfa's question, right?
Yes. So the Furqan has a question. So why don't we discuss more about Ibn Taymiyyah? Because he is the father of the bad creed. They use him more in the Wahhabism Hanbali creed to distort the true teachings and creed of the Hanbali.
That's going to be a question for tomorrow. Sheikh Noor can answer that question. I have answers for all of it, but you're going to easily say you're not Hanbali. Okay, I'm not Hanbali. Here's your books. Here's your scholars. You answer. Right? You're right. I'm not Hanbali. But here's your references. You said they're the references. Your scholar said these are the references. This is what these references say. Did you notice I gave you the curriculum that they use, and not one of those books are written by Ibn Taymiyyah? Did you notice that? Did y'all pay attention to that? Now let me reverse it and give you another version. Is any more questions about this? I want to show you something. Let's not get distracted by that stuff, Hussein. And please help us solve these issues by being mature. Like all of us, even in the crowd, sometimes we may not like certain stuff, but for the purpose of having an academic discussion that we can all benefit from, let's try to be a little bit mature. Even if I don't like someone, let's not make it personal, because we need the knowledge, no matter who it is. Let's not make it personal, right? So even if someone rubs you the wrong way, keep it about the knowledge. And if it's personal, you can deal with that later. But the knowledge, keep it about that. So you won't be, because don't let the personal stuff confuse the knowledge. We're trying to get to the knowledge. Can everyone agree with that? Y'all follow me? Let's not let personal things get in between the knowledge. Let's get to the knowledge. Personal stuff you could deal with later, right? Because I don't think I'm the greatest person to deal with either, but that doesn't mean I'm not telling you the truth.
I like you. We love you. We don't care what nobody else got to say. So alhamdulillah.
Right. So, but you notice that. So everybody got any books? Do anyone need the books that are not clarified? That's a good question from Instagram. Let me copy that and put that up. That's a beautiful question. From Instagram, the question is, are in Hanbali majority authority? Hanbali and authority in their terminology are the same. So those scholars in Sham, those Hanbali scholars, they were known as authority as well. And all that meant for them is that we follow the narrations from the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, which are called athar, right? So Ahlul Athar. They follow those reports. That's it. It has no other meaning. The Hanbalis were Ahlul Athar. So another way to say Ahlul Athar is to say Athari. So you got to understand their creed. Forget the name calling now. We're in the business of learning the creed, right? You're getting distracted, Hussein. Don't get distracted. That ain't important. Don't get distracted. That's not important. That's not important at all for what we're talking about. That's not important. Don't get lost, right? Okay. So being athari means in your creed, you follow the athar. That's all it means. That's all it means. In the creed, we follow the transmitted reports. That's it. Means nothing else. That's it. For them, I ain't talking about for others. For them, that's what it means. And Sheikh Nur will be to talk about it. Okay, are we clear on all that? What I mentioned is that you notice all of these books, not one of them was written by Ibn Taymiyyah. So that should tell you something. And we went through the whole time, after his time, before his time, you're going to notice a difference in the creed. Now, what was the book that was written by Ibn Qudama? They call Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Qudama. Do y'all remember what book was written by him that I showed? What was that book called, if someone can put it up? Do they got it, Imam Naeem? Not Al-Mughni, that's fiqh. And Aqidah, the one I showed. Said it was burgundy. Okay. Hey, listen, I need y'all to start asking questions when you don't understand. We're not trying to entertain you. If you missed it, ask. Listen, this is your opportunity to learn. No one's coming to your house to teach you. This is your chance. So, the book is this book. And that's the text. Lum'atul Itiqad. Right? That's the book. Right? Why do I say that? because this book is like the main relied upon book in the middle, right? And this book is, when it comes to us, we got a problem for us in our communities. You know why? The book in this one is a Hanbali teacher explaining it. But what's in our communities spread are these. Lum'atul Itiqad. Who's the commentator there, Imam Naeem? Can you see it?
Muhammad ibn Salih Uthaymeen.
Right? So this is Ta'liqun Muqtasarun ala Kitab Lum'atul Itiqad Al-Hadi ila Sabil al-Rashad by Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen. It's a Wahhabi book explained by the Sheikh of the Wahhabi in his time, Ibn Uthaymeen. That's Lum'atul Itiqad. Another one of their big Saudi scholars, Irshadul Ibad ila al-Ma'ani Lum'atul Itiqad. Who is it? Abdul Rahman ibn Nasir al-Barak, Saudi Sheikh, one of their big scholars explaining their creed through Lum'atul Itiqad, or break, how they pronounce it. Another one, Sharh Lum'atul Itiqad Al-Hadi ila Sabil al-Rashad. Written by who? Commentated by who? It's Muwaffiq Din Ibn Abdullah, right? Al-Maqdisi. Who's it written by? Saleh ibn Abdul Aziz ibn Muhammad al-Sheikh. Do y'all know who that is? That's one of the great grandchildren of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Muhammad ibn Ibrahim was the first mufti of Saudi Arabia, al-Sheikh. That was his grandfather. What book is he explaining? Lum'atul Itiqad. In our communities, that's what's spreading, not this. Do y'all follow the problem? And when you read that, you're going to get the Wahhabi creed, not the creed of the true Hanabila. So, as we say in our term, Houston, we have a problem. You're telling me right, to follow something that you say is wrong, but you're not giving me access to protect me from that stuff. So when Imam Naeem mentioned why we're careful, because we're aware of this. We're aware of this, and there's more. Why, until this is clarified, they hijack your stuff. And that's our concern. Imam Naeem, what do you think about that last point?
I agree, but you mentioned that because the original question was about Ibn Taymiyyah. Why did you mention that book with regards to that?
Because all of these books, so Ibn Qudama died in what year? Let's see if make sure everybody's following us. What year did Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi die? 620. What year did Ibn Taymiyyah die? We should have got that from previous lessons. What year did Ibn Taymiyyah die? Remember I said historically and globally. Y'all got to pay attention. Ibn Taymiyyah died in what year? 728. What year did Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab die? They say we're not smart. I look like they got something, right? You guys are too unintelligent. There's another word they call it, but I ain't going to use that word. You're too unintelligent to understand. It's way above your head. Looks like they understand it to me. 1206. So we got Ibn Qudama, 620. Then Ibn Taymiyyah, 728. Then Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, 1206. All these books that convey the creed, all of these scholars, these three explanations, different scholars, they're all following the madhab of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab and mentioning the opinions of Ibn Taymiyyah in his books. All of them. And they don't use these true Hanbali books. Do y'all follow? They don't use them. So that's why I mentioned these books in context with Ibn Taymiyyah. Because now you're going to have a whole creed of Ibn Taymiyyah, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, in the name of the Hanbali scholars and relied upon books. What do we do with that? And that's the one that's spreading in our communities, not the true Hanbali creed. What do we do about that?
Hanif Golob asked a question. He asked it more than once. What is the difference between Athari and Ashari?
You're going to have to wait till tomorrow for that. So tune into the Black Imams Roundtable, and Sheikh Noor is going to talk about that, inshallah. And we're going to talk together, but I want him to address those things from the Athari Hanbali side, and I can easily, and you can easily address that from the Ash'ari side, right? So we're only doing this to lay out foundational stuff, and Sheikh Noor is going to listen to all of this, and he can talk to me. We're preparing for the discussion. And I told you it's not going to be one discussion because it's a lot of information. Just for you to get all these books, probably going to take some of us a little time. Do y'all follow me? But now you got information. You can't say I didn't know. You do know. There is a difference. Now let me give you the curriculum of the Wahhabi Salafi Hanbali way in creed. Let me give you their curriculum. I gave you them. No, man, don't pay them people no attention. As I told, no. It's us, man. You know, we got our own way of saying it. It's us. You got to ignore that stuff, man. My beloved brother, you have to ignore that. Right? You have to ignore that. You have to ignore that stuff like somebody never said it. There's a saying, if you don't want to be criticized, don't talk. Right? Hey, man, that go with talking. If you open your mouth, somebody going to criticize you. That just go with the turf. So don't worry about it. Right? Right? You all right. Don't worry about that stuff. And you know daggone well the mad love we have for you. I wish, but tomorrow's your shot because you had something to do. Unless you can jump on real quick for 5 minutes, I don't know. He said Allah don't have hands, but Noor do. He's a funny dude. Noor, do you got a couple minutes to jump in? I don't know. Just a couple minutes. So at least you can show your face and say Assalamu alaikum. Okay, jump on real quick. We'll wait for you. Right? Yes, listen. Remember, you're on social media. Remember, people do what they want. That's life, right? So don't take that stuff, right? It's like, don't let that detract from the real important conversation we having, right? Everybody ain't coming to a classroom. That's not going to happen. So we have to deal with it the way we got to do. This is our battlefield. We didn't choose it. It was given to us. And this, we have to deal with it. We have to deal with what we have to deal with. We have to educate our people, whatever it takes. Is it the most ideal form? No. We would like to have you all in the classroom and we can read these books from cover to cover. And we can, but everybody ain't doing that. We don't even have the money to do that, most of us. So it ain't gonna happen. We do what we can. And some people are not gonna like it. But guess what? You're not gonna help us anyway. So what difference do it make? Whether you like it or not. It don't matter. We still in the same situation because you not coming to help. You're gonna make some academic excuse why you can get out the way. So no one's interested in you being upset that we talking about it. Okay, while we wait for Sheikh Noor, what is it? I need the name of the first Imam mentioned, the Imam of the Hanbali in Baghdad. His name is Abul Fadl, Imam Abul Fadl Abdul Wahid At-Tamimi. MashaAllah. He died in the year 410. Where's Noor?
Did you send him the link?
Yeah, I sent him a link. Let me send it to him again. He got the link. And excuse us, seriously. Before any of us had any names of imams and sheikhs, we all come from the same background. So sometimes we talk like us. So don't take that personal. Don't, oh, he's disrespectful, he ain't no good, and that ain't our style. No, I just gave you the link again. It is, I just put it in. No, look, I just put it in again. I'm sorry, I never sent it to you. When you said you couldn't make it, I didn't send it. Ain't nobody got to work. We don't got no jobs. We black. And I was joking. So Abu Fadl. Second question is in one. What is the second question? Abu Fadl At-Tamimi.
Abdul Kareem had a question.
What is it?
Couldn't Hanbali creed be more problematic to us as Black American Muslims to have to pick through and decipher when we already have been presented Ashariya and Maturidiyya?
Yes and no. No, if you into learning and you want to know truth because you're going to study and you're going to be able to distinguish. Yes, if you want microwave Islam, it could be a problem because of all the false information. But that doesn't reflect the Hanbali school. That's just saying is in every school, you got Shafi'i Wahhabis. You got Shafi'i, Wahhabi Malikis, a whole bunch of them. Now, joking for this. So everybody got the problem. We got to fix the problem. So just because it's Hanbali, everybody got the same problem. That's why we're talking. Okay, Sheikh Noor, round two. Ding, 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 ding. No, I'm joking. hey, listen. Sheikh Noor, let's start with this.
Now listen. Now we got to start with this. Y'all can't be telling me run my pockets. I might be a student of knowledge living in Medina. Nah, I'm from Haynes and Martin, bro. We ain't gonna do that.
Hey, listen. Somebody told you run your pockets.
Somebody told me run my. Listen, Don't do that. Don't do that. I was just in my hood the other night. I still get respect, bro. Calm down. I might be a student. I sit with the Mashayikh. Habib Amar is soft in my heart. But I mean, I said it many times. Every black man is 5 minutes away from having a nigga moment. Okay, so let's just keep it academic. No name calling, because you come Tal, Yani. Tal. That's all I'm gonna say. Tal. We ain't gonna do that. So let's keep it academic.
Yeah, but
Yani,
but you know as well as I know that just go with the turf.
I know. Listen, you can name call, you can give me fake names, but when people say things like tell him run the money, I know what's ahna, Habibi.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. All right. So with that being said, let's establish one that's even more important than that.
No.
You know that I love you.
No, taban.
You know your whole study. I've been a sincere brother and supporter and facilitator for everything you've done.
100.
You know that.
And
I know you have been a go book getter for me. So we got that relationship. We all share the same friends. We all been in the same circles for years.
No.
Right? We've all been together when you was getting ready to have those moments, and I'd be like, yo, you got to be a student of knowledge, knock it off.
No, sahih. That's true. And the thing, Yani, like people don't know.
People don't realize how long our relationships are and how much we've been through together.
Yeah. No, it's people don't know. I used to come and sleep on the floor of Masjid Muhammad and read Rasalat al-Jamia to Imam Amin and travel with him and read books on the road. So no, it's never going to be a beef between me and the Imam Amin. It can never be a beef. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm just plugging up my charger so it doesn't the battery doesn't die. It can never be a beef with me and Imam Amin. Like a real beef. We disagree with him when I was studying with him. We argue about the niqab being wajib and all this. This is what students do. I said, I disagree with my teachers to this day. This, alhamdulillah, I run masail by my teachers and they say, no, we don't agree. And I say, well, I look at it like this. So this is what students do. They have disagreements about certain things, but it would never be a problem with me and Imam Amin. And one thing we have in common is we do not like Salafis. That is the one thing.
No, you don't like Salafis. I love Salafis. I just don't like their beliefs.
Where's Muawiyah at? We bring Muawiyah up here.
That's all I need for somebody to say I don't like somebody. No, I just disagree. You might not like them. No, I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
I'm Philly, so nah. Tafaddal. Let's try to get at least it's 8:45. Let's try to maybe I can explain some things until 9 o'clock. I didn't have any intentions
on coming. No. So let's do this, Sheikh No.
Nah.
So, because you said you coming tomorrow, right?
Look, so that inshallah, I'll talk to you about.
Man, we done built all this stuff up.
I'm sorry, I'm traveling, and bro, the family is like, you know what I'm saying. So it's not as easy as I want it to be, and people have things planned. People are coming to see me, and I want to give the brothers and sisters my time, but it's very difficult. And if I don't get it done now, but when I get back to Medina, the phone is off, and I don't reply to messages, Yani.
So if you can give tomorrow at least an hour, right? Try to free yourself. No. If not, we're just gonna talk about you till you come out of the woodwork. Right?
I'm okay if y'all talk about me. Right, I know you brothers. You know what I'm saying?
But no, listen what I'm saying. No. So I mentioned a list of books and I showed them, and I'm gonna show you.
No.
And you can affirm or negate that these are reliable scholars, and the books are in the tartib of dirasa
for the Hanbali
al-aqidatul athariya Hanbaliya.
No,
right?
No.
Okay. And I just did it in time from some books.
No.
So they don't say Imam Amin is making it up, right? The first book that I said you can know about the creed, it's an early book.
Abu Fadl al-Tamimi.
Abu Fadl al-Tamimi.
No.
Who died 410. Is this book a reliable book to know about the creed of Imam Ahmed?
Yes, it is. 100%.
The true Hanbali creed.
Yes, it is. 100%. And if you are a Salafi and you speak Arabic, if you're a Salafi and you can read Arabic, read that book and see if his his Aqidah is in line with the Aqidah of Uthaymin and Bin Baz.
Okay,
Just weigh it.
That's one.
Afwan. No.
I'm walking it through. This is you, because you're the Hanbali. One
Inshallah.
book,
Inshallah.
right? Listen. The second book, it's a commentary.
Naam.
Sabil al-Sadad, Shar Lum'atul Ittiqad, which is originally by Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, who died in the year 620 AH. Is this a reliable foundational book for the true Hanbalis to study?
Yes.
Particularly this book I have in my hand, this explanation.
That Shar is accepted by the Hanabila. Yes, it is.
Is it a reliable book to learn from?
Lumat al-I'tiqad, yes. As far as for the Shar is just a year old, 2 years old. So we won't say it's relied upon, but we'll say that I have the book with me. That's one of the few books that I actually traveled with. It is a book that we will go to and study. But in terms of like na'tamidu alayhi, we won't. We need it needs to, but Lumat al-I'tiqad is one of the first books that you study as far as the Sharh. Just so that people don't misinterpret, the Sharh is only a year, 2 years old, maybe 3 years old at best. So to say we depend on it, I think it's a stretch. But is it a book that I would suggest for somebody? Yes, I would, 100%.
But the book Lumat al-I'tiqad, the asl, the foundation book, is relied upon book.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Right. So it's a relied upon book. Okay. The next book, Nihayatul Mubtadi'in fi Usul ad-Din, right? This book, which is Ibn Hamdan, right?
No.
Who died 695.
No.
Is this a reliable book in the Hanbali school?
Yes, it is, 100%.
Okay. تحفة الوصول إلى علم الأصول على مذهب أهل السنة والجماعة ابن الهادي المقدسي الدمشقي الحنبلي. Is this a book that is referenced and relied upon in the true Hanbali school?
For me, Allahu Alam. The reason I say that is because I've never, and some of the more advanced brothers may know, as far as for the faqir, because I have to speak from what I've studied with my teachers in the books that I've studied with them. I've seen this book referenced, but I've never studied it, so I don't know what's in it for me to say whether or not.
But it is referenced as among the books of the Hanbali creed.
Yes, it is referenced. It is referenced. It is. Okay. You'll find references. Yes.
Fine. So, and this is 909 AH. The next book, Al-Ain wal-Athar.
My favorite.
في عقائد العهد الأثر.
نعم.
عبد الباقي الحنبلي الدمشقي.
نعم.
Right? Is this, who died 1071, is this a relied upon book in the true Hanbali madhab?
Yes, it is, 100%.
Okay. قلائد الإقيان في اختصار ابن حمدان في اختصار عقيدة ابن حمدان, right?
No.
Is this a relied upon book, Ibn Balban?
Yes, it is, 100%.
1083. It is a relied upon book. الدرة المدية في أخذ أهل الفرقة المردية السفاريني, who died 1188. Is this a reliable book in the Hanbali school? A poem?
No, it is.
What about this ta'liqat, Taqrirat al-Hanbaliya?
Yes, that was actually done by my teacher, Sheikh Abdullah. Yes.
So what's in this book is trustworthy?
100%.
According to Sheikh Noor?
According to the Hanabila, not Sheikh Noor. According to the Hanabila.
Okay.
No.
Next commentary of that poem.
That's when
نوائب الأنوار البهية وسواتئ الأسرار الأثرية, which is a commentary on that book by Imam Safarini. Is this a reliable commentary on that book?
Yes, it is.
Okay. These are all the books we mentioned. That's what we showed. So, like, we didn't go back. Like, you said, what's in these books collectively? We can discuss them as the creed of the Hanabila, right or wrong?
No, alhamdulillah, no.
And as we pull it out, you're going to be able to clarify whatever we in general, I'm not saying specifics.
No.
In general, the stuff we're going to talk about, you have heard it from your teachers, discussed about what's in these books.
No.
In general.
In general, no.
With your chain of narration to your teachers, right?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Okay, so that's all we're going to talk about. The other thing, we've noticed that all of these scholars, except Abul Fatah at-Tamimi, were from Sham.
Mm-hmm.
And he was from Iraq.
No.
So the reliable books, most of them,
Mm-hmm.
are from the scholars of Sham and Damascus area. Would that be correct?
Can I have a minute to explain?
No, go ahead. That's why we
No.
asked you.
So what we have to, before we answer the question, we have to understand the history of the madhab. So the first thing is that the madhab stayed in Iraq for quite some time, and then it moved to Sham, and it stayed in the Palestine. It stayed, firstly it was in Palestine in that area. Then it went to.
Here you go, Noor. There's the question. Somebody asked since you answered it. One scholar said the shift of the Hanabila went from Baghdad to Sham to Egypt, then to Arabia.
That's exactly what I was. Everything I was about. That's a muqtasar of everything I was about to say. So in terms of the books of fiqh, most of the books of fiqh of the later school that relied upon, I want to say that Imam Mansur al-Buhuti, who was an Azhari scholar, Ibn Najjar, who was an Azhari scholar, wrote the books of fiqh. In terms of the Aqidah, you will find that most of the scholars who wrote the books in Aqidah were from Damascus. Or from not just Damascus, but the Palestine, Sham, So for those who don't know, Sham is Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine. So they were from that area because Ibn Balban, he traces his roots to Lebanon as well. A lot of the scholars trace their roots to Lebanon, and a lot of the scholars trace their roots back to Palestine as well, such as Ibn Qudama and his cousin Abdul Ghani.
So this is Ibn Balban.
Ibn Nam.
Right. Okay. So so we're on the right course. That we do have reliable sources from the book side to know the madhab. Now we just need teachers to match books, right? Would that be correct?
No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at what
I said from the book side, we do have the references we need to check.
No.
Now we just need living teachers to clarify any obscurities or confusion in books.
No.
You become that living teacher, right? Right? No, because we're going to actually go into the books.
Inshallah. But the thing is that there are people who speak English who are more qualified than the fakir. And because we know each other, we can have this conversation. But there are people who are not African American who are more qualified. Like for me, Aqidah isn't my main thing. If you want to know what I'm doing, what my books are over there, but I'm reviewing my books of fiqh every day. I'm memorizing and studying, and I have my flashcards. So there are people more qualified. But if someone wanted to realistically study the school of Imam Ahmad in English, they could study it with not just one person, a number of different people in the English language. And the fakir, I'm still studying. I'm very selfish with my time.
I know, but no, for Sidi Sheikh no, and I want to keep that because I want to keep that encouragement going. For the purpose of what we're doing, you can do that. You don't need like no big scholar for what we're doing. We're not even talking about details. This is like basic 101 obvious stuff that any student who's worth the salt in studying can answer this stuff. I can answer it. I just don't want to say he's not Hanbali. You're right, but I can answer all this stuff. This is like far eye knowledge. You're supposed to know it. But so to be fair, I'm not asking you to do anything I know you can't do. All of the things we're going to ask you about, you actually did and can do. Right? There's never going to be something that requires you to be Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, Sheikh al-Islam. We're not asking you for that. Right?
Did y'all see the question from Abu Abdulaziz?
No, that's what I was looking at. I was trying to look at that and listen to Imam.
Is this one? This one?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Noor.
No. Maybe I'm missing the point. No disrespect intended, marhaba. But isn't the goal to be in alignment with the Quran and Sunnah, since it shouldn't be the question whether or not the books are in? I don't really understand the question, but look, here's an easy way to to explain this. Everything we're talking about is in line with the Quran and Sunnah. That's 100. Everything we're saying is in line with the Quran and Sunnah. We're not saying anything outside of what is in line with the Quran and the statements of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the statements of the Sahaba and anyone from the Salaf. Everything we're saying, all we have now is a codified way of studying and understanding. So, for example, if you study Qalad al-Ityan, you're going to study this and you're going to be able to understand it with the teacher if you speak Arabic, right? Because we don't have a current translation of it. Now, if you want a book from one of the Salaf, none of us are going to be able to understand it. When I say that, meaning like if they wrote it at the level for someone from the time of the Salaf in their level of Arabic language, one of the Sahaba were to pen a book in Arabic language, speaking about the Aqidah and you using Arabic poetry and so on, we wouldn't understand that. Alhamdulillah. So what the ulama did is they took all of their ilm and they wrote a summary. One of the things Imam Amin used to tell me early on when I first started studying with him, books are summarized to be memorized. So this whole thing of a muqtasar is for us because we don't really have we have a deficiency and weakness to truly be able to understand that high level of scholarship. So alhamdulillah, these books are available and they're written in a way so that we can understand what is in the Quran and what is in the Sunnah. The same way that someone just doesn't start memorizing Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim and the books of the Kutub al-Sitta, they start with Arba'in an-Nawawi. Because if you had to memorize all the chains of transmissions and you had to know all of that, you're not Imam Bukhari. And one of my teachers said, one of the things that Allah did is He separated our generation from that generation through the barakah and ilm. We not memorize, and there are a few people, but during that time it was a lot of people who did that. Someone asked, "Am I studying Hanbali fiqh and Hanbali aqidah?" I'm Hanbali in fiqh and I'm Hanbali in aqidah. Alhamdulillah. Who are the Hanbali teachers in the English-speaking world who can teach Hanbali aqidah properly, and are they in America? In terms of being in America, I can't think of anyone in America, but alhamdulillah, we have the internet. It's a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you use it for the right thing. You have Sheikh Yusuf Sadiq, which I mentioned before. You have Sheikh Muhammad Abu Yunus, who's teaching. He's teaching Dalal al-Talib. He's teaching Lumat al-I'tiqad, and he's teaching Cloud al-Ikyan. And he's a very strong Hanbali, a very close friend of mine. MashaAllah, he's teaching. And more so in the Arabic language, we have teachers. But this is one of the things that in Madrasa Hanbaliya is a school that has other teachers. So, for example, you have the students of Sheikh Sadiq. He's now raised them to a level to where they're teaching. So they're teaching Lumat al-I'tiqad, and they have all their classes are pre-recorded. So you can go in, pay for your class, and go through the whole text in English language. Alhamdulillah. So this is just the beginning. This is the foundation. So this is just the beginning. But one of the things that and I know my brother Muhammad Abu Yunus we're very keen on this, is to really filter people out and ask who are their teachers and what books did they study. And the reason why we do this is because we are aware of the same fitna that you're aware of, that Imam Amin and Imam Naeem are talking about, is that we're careful. We want to know, even for us, we like, who is this brother? Can we bring him in and talk to him and have these discussions with him? Because we're also aware of the fitna, and this is in every circle amongst the tulab, is people go overseas, and I've seen it in everywhere that I studied, maybe not Lebanon because there weren't many Americans there, but you'll see people go abroad, they stay for a certain amount of time, they get a little bit of Arabic or enough proficiency in the Arabic language, but in terms of ilm, they're very weak. And I'll be the first one to say, I personally don't think I started benefiting from my ilm until 5 years in. After Habib gave me the tarbiyah, after my tongue got stronger in the Arabic language. It took 5 years. So imagine if someone goes away for only 5 years, how much knowledge did they really benefit from? And I'm just being honest, I'm being real. It's been 11 years now, and I don't feel like I started studying until 5 years in, until I was really able to understand the Arabic, really understand the isharat in the books. So we're very much aware of this, and I think that a lot of the comments that I see is just misconceptions between us. That they think that we're going at it, but they don't understand that when we're together, we're on the same page, and we have literally we're probably about 99.9 in agreement with everything that we're saying. Allah knows best.
So let me ask you,
No.
Sheikh Noor, quick, because we went through the true Hanbali, which was predominantly scholars of Damascus in Asham areas. Now I'm going to give you another curriculum
Mm-hmm.
that,
Oh man.
nah, we got to be fair. Because
Nah.
this is I'm going to show you something,
Mm.
right? That they claim to be Hanbali
Mm-hmm.
in fiqh, and they say this is the creed of Imam Ahmed.
No.
Here's the curriculum.
Mm-hmm. You don't got the books with you, Art?
Nah, because I was doing Hanbali, but they all in my mind. Don't worry.
I know. I was messing with you because I know you didn't spend your money on those books.
Hey, listen, the war we at, you better have everything, right? We on the battlefield, Ak. We can't play games. You have al-usul al-thalatha, or thalathatul usul, however they want to name it, right?
Yeah.
You have al-qawaid al-arba'a,
Mm-hmm.
kashf al-shubahat, kitab al-tawheed, all for Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. From there, you move to al-aqidatul wasatiyya by Ibn Taymiyyah. Then from there, Al-Aqidah al-Hamawiyya, Ibn Taymiyyah. Then to Al-Aqidah al-Tadmuriyya, right?
No.
And then to bigger books of Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya and Ibn Taymiyyah and others. Are any of them books in the true Hanbali creed?
No. Wait.
Why?
So because it's not in line with the Aqidah of the Hanabila. No book from Ibn Abdul Wahhab is studied by a true Hanbali. I've never heard my teachers reference it. I've never seen it referenced in another book, and most of them came after. They all came after the books of the Hanabila. So none of the books of, first of all, Ibn Abdul Wahhab, we should put that to the side. No one's ever reading his books. It gets tricky when it comes to Ibn Taymiyyah. Why? Because you'll see Ibn Taymiyyah referenced in the Hanbali school, and that's for a reason. And as I said when I was speaking with Amir Khalil, is that our scholars, they had some adab with Ibn Taymiyyah. Why? Because he was an alim. No one can take that away from the sheikh. He was an alim. Ibn Abdul Wahhab, we don't got no respect for. We're gonna make all kinds of refutations and books. And as I seen this morning, you showed the book, yani of Muhammad Jamil al-Shatti, yani making refutation. Muhammad, Muhammad.
And I gave it to you. You gave me that book.
Alhamdulillah, he always takes my books for those who don't know. He actually tried to take more books and I wouldn't let him.
Yeah, in the first line. Hold on 1 second.
No, so I'll finish this point very quickly while Imam is getting the books, is that Ibn Taymiyyah, you'll find that our ulama quote him and they quote the good that he said. However, the bad that he said, you'll never see anyone quote the stuff that Ibn Taymiyyah said. And like I said, it was because of the adab, because the ulama have a certain adab. And they had adab with his ilm. And as you notice, they didn't have adab the same respect that they had with Ibn Abdul Wahhab. That went out the window because this guy isn't one of us. He's not from the club of the ulama, you can say. He wasn't from they didn't give him that fadl, because who was Ibn Abdul Wahhab? Someone who had nahu mistakes. This is why we don't know, is it Thalathatul Usul or Usul al-Thalatha, as Sheikh Abdul Rahman said. And he had nahu mistakes on the cover of his book. We're not respecting this guy. But, Ibn Taymiyyah memorized Sibawayh before he reached puberty. We got to give him a little bit of respect, because who knows what his rank is with Allah. And this is how the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is how they think.
So even though with a respect for Ibn Taymiyyah, but I mentioned 3 of his books, Al-Wasatiyya, Al-Hamawiyya, and At-Tadmuriyya. And you said none of those books are taught for Hanbali creed. But they're all books of Aqidah that are mandatory reading for the one who studied the doctrine of the Najdi, Wahhabi, Salafi, Hanbalis.
Nah. So the thing is, why
the difference?
Nah, very quick. I just want to say, most Salafis that come from America that study Medina University, they never touch those books. Maybe Wasatiyya, maybe. But those other books, they can't understand Tadmuriyya. I'm being real. They can't understand it. It's a very hard and difficult read. Most of Shaykh al-Islam's books are very difficult to read at that level, because they don't know that he uses a lot of ilm al-kalam and philosophy. So I just want to clarify that most of these dudes in Philly, they never read those books, right? And I hope, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them to the true creed, as I was saying before, is reading the books of Ibn Balban, because they read his books in fiqh, but they don't read his books in aqidah, which is a mushkila, it's a big problem. But the reason why they don't read his books is because he had mistakes that went against the aqidah. Those opinions that he made, those opinions in those books are his opinions. not the opinions of the Hanabila. Inshallah, that's clear. Those
So
opinions,
what you're
no,
saying
fadl Sayyidi.
is the books of Ibn Taymiyyah, which are prevalent in our communities, especially Al-Wasitiyya,
No,
right, are not to be read as books of Hanbali
no,
Aqeedah.
no. If you want to study Hanbali Aqidah, I would suggest that you stay away from those books. Far away.
Could
And
you say
unless,
that again, just so we clear?
nah, if you are a Hanbali or looking to learn about, because a lot of people message me and say, how can I learn Athari Aqidah? What book should I read? Stay away from those books. Why? Because you don't have the tools to go into those books to know what's right and what's wrong. Maybe it might be one qawl, that's one statement that's sahih. Yani it's yani from the realm of what's mumkin, it's possible that one statement could be correct. But then it might be 100 other things that's incorrect. So you need the to understand the actual qawaid, the principles of the Hanbali school, to be able to go into those books and dissect and understand what's right and what's wrong from those books. So no, I would not suggest that you read any book from Ibn Abdul Wahhab. Don't read his books at all, any of his books, and don't read the books of Ibn Taymiyyah. Not unless you're already a scholar and you know what the Hanabila say, and then you know, okay, this is Shaykh al-Islam being Shaykh al-Islam.
Here's a question. I don't know if you see that in regard to what you just said.
Now, so I am a Sufi at heart, right? And that's always going to be in front of me. So I have a good opinion of Ibn Taymiyyah. Yeah, and me and Amin, we've even argued this before plenty of days. So before I was Hanbali, but my opinion is that I have a good. Sheikh Abu Bakr bin Salim says that you should have a good opinion of every Muslim. And who does he consider a Muslim? Anyone who says La ilaha illallah. So I don't know what his ending was, but we have a good opinion of him. That's all I can say. I don't know. I wasn't there. They have documents that say he repented. Allahu alam. The faqir, I can't speak for Shaykh al-Islam, and we'll see on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Yani, as the main thing now, we don't worry about those things. Don't read his books. Don't worry about the affairs of another person in the akhirah. Worry about how you're going to get, how your akhirah is going to turn out by not reading his books and reading the books of either the Ash'ari, the Maturidiyya, or the Hanabila. We'll see.
Okay, so we're gonna pause and hopefully you can get tomorrow, because at least what we covered today,
None.
you affirmed what we mentioned. There's
None.
nothing we said that you didn't affirm. So if anyone else has quick questions for you, so we don't want to hold you up.
No, my sisters are going to kill me like they watching my kids.
Whatever I say, try to keep all of our questions, don't make them personal. Keep the subject matter.
No.
I just asked that because we'll try to, let's get to the subject matter. That's all we're talking about. Personal questions about a person, who you study, how long you study. We want the content, right? Because you can get, we're not into personalities. If he chooses to answer it, that's his business. But
not only that, I mean, but you and I both know Imam, I mean, and this is one of the things you used to tell me early on when I used to come in and sit with you. Someone could go somewhere for 10 years and not come back with anything. Someone could go for 4 years, and if they did their Arabic, I'll give you an example. Sheikh Abdullah Hamid Ali, he did the test for Qur'an in Philly. So he went there knowing Arabic already. So he went there and graduated from, that means he was taking exams with ulama, not with common people. So you studying with somebody, it's about and I can tell you from experience, it's about the work that you put in. When I went to Lebanon, my recitation was horrible. It wasn't until 2 years after reciting the Sheikh Bashar, he said to me, I recited so one time, he said, your recitation is close to where I want it to be. Yeah, and that's after 2 years of reciting to the Sheikh, yeah. And he's mutashaddid, jittin, yeah, and he's very, very strong and very shadid, yeah.
And one benefit is to show our connection is that we both benefited from Sheikh Bashar.
Alhamdulillah. No.
I have chains of hadith and think from Sheikh Bashar, the same Sheikh.
No, all my Ijazahs and Jazariya Tuhfa is all from Sheikh Bashar.
So we share the same thing. No. So I just give an example so people don't even know, like, no, we tight. No. So all right, I'll just leave the rest of the questions for you. I'll put them up real quick and you can take it how you want, and we'll let you go and I get home because I'm gonna get in trouble too, right? So with that,
So with that, how do we actually tell people Ibn Taymiyyah is wrong with the true Hanbali quoting him on certain things? So the same way I explained it is that he was a scholar and he made mistakes. The scholars quote him on that which he was a correct in, and they don't speak about him in the things that he was wrong in. It's yeah, in the same way that if I become a big scholar, may Allah grant us all that. I mean, and I do a lot of khair in terms of, let's just say, for example, I do a lot of khair in terms of fiqh, and my fatawa and fiqh are really good, but I make mistakes in aqidah. People will still quote me in fiqh because I was good in fiqh, but if I make mistakes in aqidah, yani the ulama who have that adab and respect, they're not going to quote me and bring me up in the aqidah. So with Shaykh al-Islam, he made mistakes in fiqh and he made some mistakes in aqidah. So we quote the things that was good and beneficial that the ummah can benefit from, because he does have some beneficial aqwal and beneficial statements. However, the things that he was mistaken in, we leave that. And this is what all of the ulama do. This is the way of the ulama, that they don't just bring about the mistakes of other scholars. And I just want to say one more thing. I know that we live in, because this is like, for people who not from Philly or from the East Coast, they like, what are these dudes talking about? This is a Philly thing. We've been dealing with refutations and exposures for almost 25, 30 years now. This is a Philly thing where people like, but amongst the ulama, people wrote refutations, but then the same way me and Amin, we had our discussion, we got coffee the next day. This is how they work. Ibn Qudama made Rad on the Ashara and then went for it with Salahuddin. This is common. We now are living in a time where the Salafis are making refutation against us and asking Allah to break our backs and telling people.
Don't that hurt when you hear that? Either he get on the dot or may Allah break his back. I'm like, Dad, can you find something else? Why you gotta break a man's back? Break his finger, maybe let him have a twisted ankle. Why you gotta have a broken back?
Yeah, so this is
Every
really
time I hear that,
an East Coast
like,
thing, man. That's an East Coast thing. This isn't, you won't really see that, like, except for with the Salafi Dawah, maybe in London, but this is an East Coast thing, man. So the ulama, they had adab in their refutations, and and they would praise you. And the thing about I've seen with these refutations, they'll start off praising the sheikh that they're about to make a refutation on, saying that he's lugawi and all of this, muhaddith could be all of this, and then go to McButt, he was mistaken in this masala, and make refutation on him. So, but we don't have that adab. We start attacking personalities, telling people he got to run his money, things like that. This ain't the way of the ulama. Yani, this ain't the way of our shuyukh. And this is who we should inspire to be. We got to get out of this mentality, man, of wanting to attack each other personally and not deal with it. If I was mistaken, then I expect for my brothers and my sisters to correct me. But we don't attack people's personalities. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
all right, lastly. Oh, that's right. I already did that.
No.
Did I do that? Yeah, I did.
What?
Oh, I don't know if I did, just in case I did.
Y'all witness the imam getting old, y'all. He forgetting his steps.
So we talked about Lum'atul Itiqad.
No.
And you said this commentary,
No.
Sheikh Faris,
No.
right,
Mm-hmm.
is new but decent, and
No.
you use it.
Yeah, I have it with me. Yeah.
So it's something you reference and you read. I'm going to give you some other commentaries on Lum'atul Itiqad.
Who's that by?
تعليق مختصر على كتاب لمعة الاتقاد
Oh.
Saleh Al-Uthaymin. What about this?
No, that is a no. That is the same way that they did the ta'liq on Fathul Bari and they made refutation of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. This is something that they're known for.
This is a Salafi book.
No.
The same book you said is a reliable book in the Hanbali, but if we read this, what's going to happen?
You are going to become an anthropomorphist. You are going to believe things about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that isn't correct. And may I explain why, Sayyidi?
Go. I'm not finished.
Okay. The reason why you're going to walk away like this, why? Because this is why Imam Amin is telling you, brothers and sisters, to study. So the Hanabila, as I said in our first discussion, have two ways of writing. One is the way of the Muhaddithin, one is in the style of the Mutakallimin. And Sheikh Abdul Rahman, he actually put it really beautifully. He said, in the language of the Mutakallimin, the alfaz or the words are closed and locked. It's harder to try to say, well, this is what the Sheikh meant. It's locked. You can't get to it. But in the way of the Muhaddithin, which Ibn Qudama was a hafiz of hadith, right? He he did naql. So the way of the muhaddithin is they transmit the narration. So they'll give it a chapter title, and then they just transmit the ahadith that come under that chapter title. But that leaves it open. So someone like Uthaymeen, who's kind of slick, rahimahullah, he's still a Muslim, inshallah. He it's easy for him to come in and slide in and say, well, this is what the author meant by this, and this is the sharh of this hadith. Meanwhile, he's not giving a sharh from Al-Fath al-Bari, from Ibn Hajar or Ibn Rajab. He's giving his sharh. So he has no point of reference for his sharh of the hadith, and he's saying that this is what the author meant. But because the author, his kalam isn't locked, because he's just, look at Luman to the Tiqad. I don't have mine is all the way downstairs, but Imam, if you could just read a passage from there for the people, and then we can just translate it. It's just naql. He's just transmitting, so it's easier for him to come and write an explanation of it. Unlike the way of the difference between this and Qalal al-Ikyan is Qalal al-Ikyan, you'll see from the very beginning that this is written in the way of the mutakallimin, and that the alfaz, the wording is locked. You can't change the author's intent.
All right, I'll give you another one, which is more. This is Sharh Lumatul Itiqad. It is written by Saleh ibn Abdul Aziz ibn Muhammad bin Ibrahim al-Sheikh, who's the great-great-grandson of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. What about this?
No, the same thing, the same exact thing. So I pose a question. Why is it only Lumatul Itiqad when the Imam has Dhamma Ta'wil? Why? Because Dhamma Ta'wil, what does Ibn Qudama do? He actually makes refutation on the ideas of the Salafis. That's why you never see them teach it. You never see them make shuruh of it. You never see them do ta'liqat. So ta'liqat is when they do small notes. It's not a complete explanation, but just some marginal notes, not a hashia, but some small notes on it. So why not Dhamma Ta'wil? Because what does he say in Dhamma Ta'wil? And Dhamma Ta'wil, he says that, because what do the Salafis say? They say that we don't do tafweed of the ma'na, of the meaning. The meaning is known from the zahir, from the outward. We understand the meaning. What we don't know is the kayf. So this is the famous statement that they say, the same way I have a hand, and the monkey has a hand, and the clock has a hand, is the same way that Allah has a hand. We just don't know the kayf. So they're saying that the meaning is known. This is what they say. Not us, not the Hanabila, not the Ash'ara, not the Maturidiyya. So what does Ibn Qudama say in Dhamma Ta'wil? He says that the Salafis use the statement of Imam Malik. And Imam Malik says that al-istawa ghayru majhul. What does this mean? The istawa is not something that's not unknown. What does Ibn Qudama say? Because they making shuruh of his book, so that means they follow him, right? He said that what is meant by this is the akhbar, the reporting of istawa, the istawa actually happening. That's not what is unknown. However, the meaning of it is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we know that Allah made istawa, meaning that it goes back to the principles of the Hanabila that we do ithbat of the alfaz. We affirm the outward wording of the hadith or the ayat that refers to the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we leave the meaning with Allah. Because one of the things that you have to know when going into the books of the Ahlul Athar or the books of the Hanabila is that their principles are laid out in the muqaddimah of the text. You'll always find that in the muqaddimah of the text.
And if you want it, what Ibn Qudama mentioned about that, the kayf, very important, is there. I'll show it because I can't read backwards, not that good. But I'll show it to you. Then I'll read it. He said, Su'ila al-Imam Malik ibn Anas, rahimahullah ta'ala. Faqila, Ya Aba Abdullah, الرحمن على العرش استوى كيف استوى فقال الاستواء غير مجهول والكيف غير معقول. That is inconceivable to say how about Allah. Istiwa. That's what he reported. It's in his book.
No.
He said you can't say that about Allah. غير المعقول. means it's inconceivable to say how about Allah.
No.
Istiwa. So that's his report. And that's an example. And if I go to these books, they're gonna tell you, no, the kayf is a kayf, but only Allah knows the kayf. That's not what he said. That's what the Wahhabis say. That's not the Ash'aris don't say that. The Maturidis don't say that, and the true Hanbalis don't say that. That's why I said the books. So these are the references. The information is there, but that's not being put in our community. And I think that's where we run into the problem. That's why I said it's a must that the Hanbalis clarify these things, because it's a reality. But unfortunately, sometimes that's not being done. So we'll let you close out however you want, Sheikh Noor, because the questions that come, I think we did the first level.
No.
I think in our inner city way, we tried to keep it as academic as possible. We got to be us.
No.
But we mentioned the books, we mentioned resources, you confirmed them. And now what I would like to do, if we get a chance tomorrow, is to actually go in to the books and point out some of the issues that we talk about and have you explain them as you learn with your teachers.
Inshallah, Bidhnillahi ta'ala. If I promise you,
if not, we'll save it to the day you can.
Naam, inshallah. If not, then we'll set up something from Medina, inshallah.
But we're going to touch on the subjects, even if we just put them out for you to come later. So I hope you can make it, but we already put it out. And you know us, like how you gonna put it out for a meal and don't serve us? That don't work, right? But the books are there, even if we just show what's in the book and highlight it, and later when you get time, you can come comment, because we're just gonna do now naql. All we can do is transmit.
No, that's perfect. And you know, alhamdulillah, the thing is, it is upon the Hanbalis to teach, and we are, alhamdulillah, we're teaching in small circles, but this thing has to be done right because of the injustice that has been done to the Hanbali school. And I'm very careful about who I suggest. If I said a name on this show, they know their stuff. I'm not just saying anybody. There are I see a lot of English sources, but I'm only suggesting people that either I've studied with or I know the people personally and I know who they studied with. They know their stuff. So Bidhnillahi ta'ala, my schedule, inshallah, Bidhnillahi ta'ala, I'll be able to maybe get on for an hour tomorrow.
Because I'm going to send you the points that I'm going to discuss. So I'm going to send you every pages, everything, exactly what I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to send it to you. So inshallah ta'ala, there will be no, there's not going to be no surprises. Everything we're going to talk about, here's the book, here's the page number, here's the quote, right? Because you already saw the books. So we're not going to add anything. We're just going to put the points, which are the issues that we're really discussing. So it's not a difference. These issues are not differences of opinion.
No.
That's another level. Where do the Ash'a'ira and the true Hanabila differ? That's another discussion. Where do we agree? And where we agree is the issues that we really facing.
No.
Right?
That's not even the areas of
Imam Amin go on a Wahhabi rant. That rant is the same rant of the Hanbalis, and even more so. Could you touch on that? That the Hanbalis, the true Hanbalis, have stricter judgments for the things we're discussing than the Ash'aris.
No, I mentioned this on the podcast with Amir Khalil, is that the Ash'ari don't take as strict of a stance as the Hanabila. It's clear in our books. My books are all downstairs right now.
I'm gonna show them. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna point them issues
So
out.
if you go in Qalad al-Liqyan is a summary of Nihayat al-Mubtadi'in by Ibn Hamdan. So it's the same book. One is just a summary. It says, "Man qala Allah fi makan or fi kulli makan fakafir." Whoever says Allah is in a place or in every place has committed disbelief. This you'll find this statement in so many books of the Hanabila. So it's in Al-Ain wa Athar.
Okay, here it is. Here's the quote. I'm gonna put it close so you can see.
So it says, Al-Hukm man athbata lillahi al-makan. Naam. So the judgment of who affirms for Allah a place. So this is Ibn Balban al-Hanbali. And he says, فَمَنِ اعْتَقَدَ أَوْ قَالَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِذَاتِهِ في كل مكان أو في مكان فكافر. He says, so whoever believes or says, so mashallah, whoever believes or says, let me see, that verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his essence is in every place or in a place, they have committed disbelief. That is almost an exact translation.
And that's on page
Now
number
that
90.
same book. So for the people who are have problems with me and my Aqidah, I want you to know something. Look at that tahqiq. Who's that done by? It's done by Sheikh Abdullah, one of my teachers. The teacher that I go to his house that I go to his house 3 days a week, almost every day. Yeah, because even though those 3 days we have durus, but we're in contact every day. Even just earlier I sent him a question because I was reviewing. These are my teachers. They're putting in the work in the Arabic language. So people who have problems with me saying they think I'm a Wahhabi and things like that, Kaif, these are my teachers. I have voice messages on my phone I can play you from Sheikh Abdullah, and he has some small rasail explaining issues in Aqidah. But Kaif, if you think I'm a Wahhabi, you should go. Maybe you're not as well studied as you believe, and you should go do the research of what the Hanabila believe, because you're more caught up in the title than you are in what the Hanabila actually believe. Because that's ridiculous. These are my teachers. These are the men that I go to when I can't understand something. And these are the same people that's saying whoever says Allah is in a place. The Senate, this is what as I always try to get people to understand, the understanding is transmitted also with the Senate. So this is what I understand from my teachers. This is what they understood from their teachers, going all the way back to Imam Ahmad. So the Ash'ari won't say necessarily that someone who says this is a kafir, they might say, well, he's a deviant. The Hanabila, khalas, he's a kafir. That's the Hanbali position,
So, I mean, when we go into it, the books, they're preserved. There's the sheikh who edited the book, who explained and put commentary, and there's a student from our community who sat with him. This is what they say. This is the books. So, here come Muawiyah all late and wrong. Muawiyah, we made Islam. Hey, if Muawiyah, you want to answer that, we gotta get ready to go because I'm getting late too. Go ahead. That's Muawiyah. Make him feel good.
Do the Hanbalis make a distinction between one who affirms a belief and the one who affirms the belief as well as the lawazim? So I don't really understand the question, Muawiyah. They affirm a belief and the one who affirms the belief as well as the Allahumma salli ala lawazim.
Let me rephrase because I know Muawiyah. I know what he's trying to say.
Okay.
There's one who affirms something. That's one case. And then what about the one who says something, but it's not explicit, but the lawazim, meaning what it necessitates, is that belief. He said, is there a difference between the judgment for two?
Allahu alam, I don't know. And I don't know. And I would say that.
So do you understand the question?
Yeah, I understand the question, but Allahu alam, I don't know. And the reason why those questions are tricky. Another thing about this is that Amin told me this years ago, and it stuck with me, is that I think people forget that this whole not having a Khalifa and the Muslims not having dominant control of the world is something new. This is a phenomenon that we're witnessing. So a lot of these issues of what people believe making them a kafir, not making them a kafir, it's up to the qadi to sit with them and to understand what they're saying. So I can't necessarily. That's for a qadi to actually say, Sheikh Muawiyah, just like the person who doesn't pray. I know people misunderstand that masala in the Hanbali school. Yeah, we don't consider anyone a kafir just because they don't pray. The hukum is that someone has to, the qadi himself, or he has to send a na'ib, a representative, to go to him. And there's a certain time frame. There's 3 salats that he has to miss after being encouraged to make the salat, and then he's considered a kafir. And I explained this before to a group of brothers. So it's really up to the qadi, but we're in a situation where we don't really have a qadi. So yeah, I can't. The faqir, I can't really say. Yani Allahu alam, I'm not sure. I don't know.
All right, we did. I didn't want to take up all your time. You like
No, it's okay.
over what you say.
No,
And that's how this goes. I said I'm only gonna be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Kids screaming and hollering.
No, you originally said an hour, hour and a half.
yeah,
Then
mashallah.
we got 15 minutes to make it a complete, even 2 hours. Right? No, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. But no, this stuff, here's my thing. It shows several things. Would y'all all agree? Everyone who's listening, there's over 100 and something people that we see. Were we civil? Did we beat each other up? Did we call each other's names? Didn't we have a nice talk? Didn't we?
I think it was beneficial too, because we actually learned some things.
So we did it. We did it. We're capable. We're not too unintelligent to have a civil discourse that's beneficial, and we learn. You learned a bunch of books. You learned a bunch of scholars. You learned the stuff that you never heard before, some of us. What's the harm in that? Did we harm each other? You learn what is reliable, what is not reliable. You learn that there are tricks being played. You had teachers, your own people who learned from teachers. Hey. So why couldn't we continue a full discussion and educate our people? We're capable. We could do it. And what we don't know, nobody has a problem saying, I don't know. I'll ask. You have living teachers, ask. That's what we could do. So it's capable. And this, and I want to say this, Imam Sheikh Noor, you got to give me a little lenience because I got to throw this out there. This is available for anybody. It's not specific to Sheikh Noor. Anyone who want to has a real civil conversation, we could talk about it. No one hates you or dislike you or not you, joker. I ain't talking to you, man. You from that. Ain't nobody doing all that. We want the truth to manifest. That's it. Oh Allah, show us the truth as the truth and let us follow it. Show us falsehood and as falsehood and let us avoid it. That's it. Ain't nothing personal. Even if it's something personal, it ain't gonna get in the way of the knowledge. It's just, I don't like you. You a joker. But that's something different that has nothing to do with the knowledge. And let's keep it like that because it ain't about us. At the end of the day, all of us are gonna die. And we gotta save our people to the best we can while we're alive. And others. And when I say our people, because ain't nobody there to help us. You just said in the hood, there's no, in the neighborhoods, it don't have to be the hood, in the suburbs for us, in wherever. We don't have no Hanbali, true Hanbalis to teach us. That's what you said, right? That you know of. Didn't you just say that? Is that what you said, no? Oh, I misheard you.
No. I agree.
Okay, but isn't it in the hundreds of available people to tell us the stuff you said don't read?
Yeah, in every community, from the suburbs to the inner cities.
Isn't it a bunch of graduates from the University of Medina who are actually teaching this stuff in our communities?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a disparity here. So we got to fix that. That's just because so only ones can learn their religion is the ones who know Arabic. Hey, if you don't know Arabic, you shot. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Right? That's not fair.
No.
Right? I mean, that's a responsibility on those who went and learned. I mean, yeah, Imam Amin, you got all these books. So you can go ahead and you can look and you got Sheikh Noor and y'all friends and y'all got sheikhs and y'all can do all that. What about the other guy? He's just dead in the water, right? No, it's our responsibility to help them, to educate them, to teach them, to show them a different way. Right? That's our, or else we selfish. I just went, I did my own thing, spent my years, I'm the man now, kiss my hand, right? And really, for doing that, we don't need nobody to kiss our hand, they need to kick us in the butt, right? I mean, seriously, if that's what we end up doing, we can't do that. So we gotta do it in the best of ways, But we need true teachers who convey their traditions the way they learn it in our communities. We need it. It's desperately needed, because the alternative is what you said is not acceptable, which I agree is not acceptable. So if it's not acceptable, why we keep leaving our people like that? Whom we come from, we know what they're faced with. We live in the areas. Like you said, we've been doing this for 20, 30 years. We know what they're faced with. We got to help. And that goes for every teacher who learned in a proper way. They got to help. That's my saying, and I'm sticking to it. And you know me. Have I always been like this?
Mm-hmm.
Ever since you know me, have I always been saying the same thing?
No.
We got to do it. Because, yeah, we can go to Saudi Arabia and Sham and Egypt and sit with the sheikhs, and we can do that. But not our people don't have the ability. Some people don't have money. Some people, even if they have money, they don't know enough Arabic. They don't have connections. They don't have resources. Like, you could do that. You want to transfer to Yemen, to Sham? Imam Amin, help me out. Oh, I got you. Boop, pop, boop, pop, pop, pop. I need to go to Egypt. Pop, pop, pop. We don't got that. Most of us. I have it. You have it. Imam Naeem have it. But most of our people don't got that kind of access. So it's our responsibility when we have that access to share. Sharing is caring. And Allah knows best. And I got another one me and Abdul Kabir is working on, but that's going to take a minute, but we're working on it. So make dua that we bring out some more teachers
Inshallah.
that can help us. We're working on it, but it's behind the scenes. And inshallah, maybe this example will help others say, you know what? I could come out. I could come out with the brothers. It's a safe environment, right? Like Sheikh Abdul Kareem come out, like Sheikh Nasir. You know, we need more of us for our condition to be out talking, dialoguing, kicking it, you know, doing what we do.
No.
May Allah make it easy.
Ameen.
So he's coming, okay. So the teacher we got is coming. We ain't gonna say it till we get him on because we don't want to blow up the spot. But we working on something. Sure. And we had a beautiful long talk this morning working on it. And it was the same kind of conversation we're having right now, right? And we just figuring out how to do it. But I believe once we all come together and with our different accesses and skill sets, everybody got different stuff. Everybody ain't the same. But when we put all that together, we can help our people learn. And then the world will open up to us, right? And then we could be in a better condition collectively. That's why we became Muslim, right? And so I think we just got to do our work. And I believe when we do that work and the numbers, we won't be saying it ain't nowhere for you to go. No, or you got to go to someone else. No, it's right here, right in the community. Go to that masjid. So-and-so has learned. He has chains of narration. He has books. He has connections to teachers. He's supported. Go sit with him. You don't have to go to Saudi Arabia, to Egypt, or to Syria, to Lebanon to get your basic information. It's right there in your neighborhood. That's a responsibility on us, right? And that's all we asking for. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, Noor, close us out with dua, with some Sufi stuff.
SubhanAllah. نعم اللهم إني أسألك نور محمدية نور أشرفية نور أنبياء نور أولياء النور الذين يتبعونهم حتى يوم القيامة اللهم إني أسألك بصرفاتها إلى حضرة النبي اللهم صل وسلم عليه الفاتحة الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Not to be funny, ain't that shirk?
What? Oh, come on. Come on, man.
Imam Naeem, did you catch that? Did you catch that?
Asking about the light of the Prophet, the light of the Awliya, the light of the Salihin.
I said, wait a minute, if I ain't mistaken, ain't that shirk? Right? See, that's what I mean, right? No, I'm just joking, but that's what they saying about our even dua. Hanbalis.
No, well, alhamdulillah, mashallah.
Right,
we can't teach everybody overnight, mashallah.
All right, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We're going to close out We'll see y'all
Alaikum
tomorrow morning, inshallah. If not,
Inshallah.
tomorrow on the round table. Hold on, Sheikh Noor, 1 second.
salam. No.